If you finally decided to start working on a project, but you don't exactly know where to start, or if you've been assigned to be a project lead, but you don't know or you're confused as to how to mobilize it, the answer to your problem is to create a project plan. In today's video, I will teach you how to be successful in any project by creating a project plan. Oh, hey there! Welcome back to my home office. It's me again, Mia, your Asian Digital Business Manager. For today's video, I'm going to share to you my process on how to create a project plan. And make sure you stick at the end of the video because I will give you a guide on how to be successful with any projects you implement. Let's get on with it. First things first, conduct a project meeting. You have got to nail the scope first at the beginning of the project, and that includes the project goals, deliverables, timelines, as well as identifying resources. It is very crucial for you to identify this at the beginning of the project before actually doing anything, because this will determine the success of your project. And the trick on how to nail the scope successfully is to ask the 5 W's and the 1 H question. And the first one is the why. This will help you understand as a project lead of this initiative what the goals are for this project. Why are we doing this? Or what was the logic or the reason behind initiating or launching this kind of project? Knowing the why or the goal of the project will help you ease decision making in the future along the project implementation, and you don't really need to go back and forth with your CEO or with your boss to ask simple questions. And knowing the goal and the why would help you make decisions on your own with the team that you are handling for this project. Next question is what? What are the deliverables? What's the budget? What's the standard quality of the deliverables? And if we implement the same project in the past, what went well and what didn't go well? The third question is when. This obviously means identifying the timeline. So I usually like to start with the target date of when we want to launch this project, and then working backwards with the client if that would be feasible or we have to renegotiate this deadline or this timeline. You can also discuss or set milestones in between the start date and the end date. That would help you as the project manager or project lead identify if you are on track and in time with the project, especially if it's a huge project. The fourth question to ask is where. We need to ask where the assets are located, where are all the documents, the passwords, and all the materials that we need to implement the project successfully. And in this question, you also need to make sure that if you don't have access to those materials yet, then you need to ask or request access for those. We wouldn't want to go into projects and then just ask where are the materials for each and every deliverable. And the fifth question to ask is who are the team members involved in this project, what are their roles, and who they report to. And the last question is how. What are the resources that we can use in order to manage the projects and the specific tasks? Do we have an available tool to use like ClickUp, Asana, or Notion, or Money.com, or any project management tool that matter? As a project lead, you may have your preference, but I like asking my client what they prefer to use to ease up the friction of using a project management tool. After doing the project intake meeting with having the scope in mind, you can now summarize the scope into a document and have it approved by your client or by the CEO of your company. After signing off the scope, conduct a kick-off meeting plus pre-mortem. So aside from kicking off the meeting, getting the team on board with the plan and the goals, the deliverables, timeline, their roles, as well as project scope, I like including a quote-unquote pre-mortem meeting. I like to add a pre-mortem session in that kick-off meeting just so we can get team's input as to what they think can go right or can go wrong with this project. And if we have a similar project in the past, what did they experience in their departments that would help this project moving forward. I find this helpful because I've prevented problems or issues and saved time just by asking the team what they think can go wrong or what they think can go right in this project with this kind of scope. So once the team agrees, it's now time to create the action plan. So this is the fun part. I also like using ClickUp or any project management tool to write the action plan so that it's easy to manage tasks asynchronously. Action plan includes the project phases. For example, phase 1 is gathering all the assets, phase 2 is content creation, phase 3 is setting up automations, and phase 4 is scheduling content, phase 5 is launching, and phase 6 is getting the feedback and analyzing the project output. Upon identifying the phases, you can now identify each tasks that needs to go in each phase. You don't necessarily need to know the exact steps or the exact actions for each phase or each department. You can go ahead and gather the team who are experts in each department, the tech team, the marketing team, and then ask them what do they think are the steps necessary to make this project successful in their department. And it's our job as the project lead or project manager to gather all that and make sense and make it cohesive so that everyone knows what they need to do at a specific time. So now that you've identified the task, you can now go ahead and assign the due dates, the assignees, add the task details, and finalize the overall timeline. And part of the project action plan is to assigning or identifying project communication plan. It is a regular check-in with the team members to give updates on the progress, ask any questions, identify whatever is blocking them. It depends on the type of project, but it can be a weekly meeting, it can be a 15-minute check-in, or even an asynchronous chat message like as to where you are or where you're blocked in any task. And we finally arrived to the implementation part of the project. You have your action plan set up in a project management tool. Your team is on board with the project. It's time to implement the project. And part of that is the next one, which is monitor the daily progress. Since you've set this up in a project management tool, you don't have to go chat all your teammates one by one via Slack or Discord or any communication tools, because you can just take a look at the project plan you've set up in ClickUp or Asana or any project management tool that you use and see if there are any questions from them or if they've already forwarded the output required. And the only time you need to communicate with them is if they are having trouble or if you haven't received the output that's due for that day. And you don't have to find yourself nitpicking in everything or chatting everyone all the time. The next part is to iterate the project plan as needed. So projects often don't go as exactly planned, but the good thing is you're there to iterate or change any tasks or actions, adjust any deliverables that along the way we see would be better with or without in the project. And finally, we've arrived at project offboarding. When the due date is done and all the tasks are completed, we now have the task as project leads or project managers to make sure that the deliverables from the scope that we created at the beginning are delivered, are at par with the quality that we expect, and we're ready to conduct a project offboarding meeting with the team. And congratulations, you finally successfully launched and implemented your project and managed to offboard this without feeling too confused or too distracted. I created a checklist of how to project plan any projects, and if you want a copy of it, you can leave a comment at the comment section and I will send it your way. Or if you have any questions about project management or project planning or anything about online businesses, feel free to fill out my question form at the description box and I will get back to you with hopefully a helpful answer. Thanks for tuning in and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye!